This right here is the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, and this video series is all about getting you up and running and your church up and running so that your volunteers can quickly and easily produce an excellent live stream with these ATEM switchers. So now that my cameras are looking great, I'm using my studio here as an example, it's time to get graphics on the screen. So we basically have two options. We have Chroma Key using a green background that the switcher is going to remove, and this only takes one switcher input. Or we have Alpha Key, which takes switcher inputs and utilizes ProPresenter's ability to output a transparent key to do some magic, and then we have a transparent image, but it takes up those two inputs on the switcher. And because this is only a 4-input switcher, I'm going to use Chroma Key. But I'm also going to show you how to do Alpha Key so you can do both methods. And I'm going to take it one step further and also show you how to do it with a DeckLink Duo 2 card. Welcome to Crazy Amazing Designs. I'm Nathan, and I train and educate leaders to do church and event production with excellence. So please consider subscribing to my channel and following along with the content that I create. As my fourth camera input, I've connected my computer here, which is running graphics using ProPresenter 7. So inside of ProPresenter 7, on the top kind of right area, you can see the output window, which allows us to monitor the different outputs that ProPresenter is generating. And this is a multi-view that I've created to show us the main output, the stream output, and even the stage display output, which is more for the band. So as I click through content here in ProPresenter, you can see the different places that this content is going to and what it's doing. For example, the main output, the content's in the center with a worship background, whereas the live stream output is a lower third with no motion background. As I click through content in ProPresenter 7, everything is already set up, including the stream out layer where you can see the lower third lyrics. This is because I'm using my ProPresenter 7 template that is available for my store at crazyamazingdesigns.com. If you are a ProPresenter 7 user, that you should definitely check out this template. I've gone through and set up all kinds of stuff that you need, like this multi-view. I use this template on all of my new machines that I set up, and it's a big convenience. Another example, if I click on screens at the top of the screen and go down to configure screens, you can see here that I have pre-configured the main output, the stream output, and the stage display output. These screens are all set up and ready to have screens assigned to them. ProPresenter 7 has a feature called looks. If I close out of this and go to screens, edit looks, you can see there are several looks in this template to do different things, and I want to focus here on the worship look. So looks are used to decide what content is sent to what audience outputs from ProPresenter. With the worship look selected, you can see here that I have a theme applied to the stream out layer on this look, and if I look at it, it's currently set to alpha lower third. But I'm actually going to go ahead and change this to chroma. This way, when this look is applied, the live stream output will be lower thirds for worship. I'm changing this because a single output can't do alpha keys. So to make sure that the switcher can make this live stream layer coming into the switcher transparent, we need to change the worship lower thirds theme to add the green background, and then we're going to chroma key the image inside of the switcher. Now when I click on some worship slides, I'll click on it and you can see that the live stream output is currently green. Even with this green output, we can still show full screen graphics. This green is only going to show up when we're showing lower third lyrics. If I go to the announcement loop, for example, you can see that this is full screen text coming into camera 4, just like normal. So I'm just going to put camera 4 in program instead of putting the key in place. In fact, if I have a full screen image on camera 4 and I key it, it could make random parts of the image to come through as transparent, so we don't want that. Make sure if you're showing a video or any other kind of content that's full screen, make sure you make your camera that your graphics are coming in full screen. Now that we are sending graphics from ProPresenter to the switcher, let's go into the ATEM control software, and we are going to utilize this switcher's one and only upstream key to remove the green background. So I'm going to go to the ATEM control software. I'm going to go to palette, then click upstream key 1. I'm going to make sure the fill source is set to the camera input, which is 4. And now I'm going to turn off, make sure that the on air is off for the key 1. And now I can go ahead and sample this. So let me go ahead and put the lyrics back on. So now I'm going to drag this green box up here just so I can see this color of the key. And now I should be able to put this live. And now if I go ahead and I'm going to go to screens, I'm going to go to configure screens, and I'm going to break a rule. I'm going to go to the stream output layer, and I'm going to assign the built-in operator screen as the output. So when I click on audience, it's going to make my computer screen green with the lyrics on the bottom, and you're going to see up in preview and program that we can in fact see the lower third lyrics. So that looks perfect. So that's pretty much how you do that. That's how you get graphics inside of your ATEM switcher, and you key out everything except for the lower third lyrics. Now we can go ahead inside of ProPresenter, and I'm going to go ahead and go to Screens, Edit Looks, and on the Worship look, I'm going to go to Stream Out, and I'm going to change this back to Alpha Key, because what we're going to attempt to do here is to use two HDMI outputs from the computer into the switcher to achieve the same key. So I'll go back to the control software, and I'm going to change it to Luma, and now my fill source is going to be camera 3, and my key source is going to be camera 4. So to do this, I'm going to have to extend my desktop, which obviously makes sense. So I'm going to go to displays, and now my extended desktop, I'm going to stop mirroring. I just remembered that my MacBook Air cannot do more than one HDMI output. So I'm going to have to go find another solution to make this happen. So I switched my laptops here because I remembered that my MacBook Air can only do one display output, which I actually did a video on that using the Blackmagic Monitor 3G to output an additional output from that computer. So here I'm on a MacBook Pro that can do several HDMI outputs to displays. So I'm connecting my one display in camera 4 to this computer, and now I'm going to go ahead and connect my camera 3 to this computer also. So I'm going to go over here and unplug the existing camera 3, which is my top-down shot, plug in this HDMI cable, and now on the other end, I'll go ahead and connect this to my MacBook Pro. So now that I've plugged in my second HDMI, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Apple System Settings, and now I'm going to go down to Displays, and now I can see here on this list, we've got our built-in display, which is our operator screen, and then we've got these two HDMI extended displays. So if any of these are set to mirrored, it's not going to work. So here, this first one is set to extended display, and then the second one is set to extended display. Make sure these are extended and not mirrored. Also, if you have a little bit older of an operating system, things are going to look a little bit different, but it's the same principle. Make sure all of your displays are extended. So now I'm going to go ahead and open up ProPresenter. So here I'm inside of ProPresenter 7. I'm going to go ahead and click on some worship slides and put some text on the main output, and then as a lower third on the stream output. I'm going to go to Screens, Configure Screens, and now for the stream output, I'm going to go ahead and assign one of my two extended displays to this output. And now I'm going to go over to Alpha Key, and I'm going to change the alpha type to pre-multiplied. Now, this is where I'm going to select my second output. So the first output is on hardware, and then my second output is on Alpha Key. So now I should be able to utilize this. But first, we need to do one thing. In my template here, I'm going to go to Edit Looks. I'm going to go to the Worship preset, and now on the Stream Outputs column, under Presentation, we're going to change the Chroma lower third to Alpha lower third. So inside of my template here, I've got a bunch of different options set up so that if you're using Chroma Key, you can change it to Chroma Key. If you're using Alpha Key, you can change it to Alpha Key. I try to keep things flexible and modular so that you can configure it to however you need to configure it for your setup. And also, you can make your own changes to this template once you get it. Cool, so now we have our stream output going out through Alpha Key. And on the switcher, you can see in camera 3 and camera 4 that the key and fill are both coming through. So now let's go ahead and open up the ATEM control software. And now that I'm connected, I'm going to go back to my upstream key 1. This switcher only has one upstream key, not downstream key, upstream key. And we're going to change it from Chroma to Luma. So now my fill source is going to be camera 3, and my key source is going to be camera 4. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the key. Well, folks, I'm not sure why it's not working. I just wasted 16 minutes, and it's not working. Huh, there it works. What? Okay, it still gets dark, so yeah, pre-multiplied key was on. It has been several hours since I was recording this video, and I don't know what happened, but it works now. I said it should work, and I was right because it's now working. So let me go through this real quick just to show you what is happening here. Let's go to Screens, Edit Looks, because I am using my Worship preset, And on my stream out layer, on my presets, you can see the alpha key is selected. So on the stream out layer, we have a lower third with black bars on the background and then white text. And then if I go to screens, configure screens, I have the stream out audience output set to hardware is set to HDMI 1. And if I identify that, you can see it's on camera 3. And then if I go over to alpha key, I can see that it's set to 2, and that's on camera 4. I think that might have been the problem because earlier I could only see it on the 1. So now I can confirm that, let's see, identify, so that's camera 4. So that means that the key is 4. So if I go over to the ATEM control software, I'm on upstream key 1, Luma. My key is set to camera 4, my fill is set to camera 3. So now when I go ahead and turn the key on and off, air, you can see that it comes in my output. So there you go. When I first turned it on, it was getting darker, and that's because the pre-multiplied key setting was on. So just make sure that's off, and then you won't have any color issues. Sometimes when you're doing this stuff, you just gotta try it and figure it out. That's why understanding how this works is so much more important than understanding exact steps to make it happen, because if you understand how it works, you can understand, hey, something's not working right, because it should be working correctly. So I'm glad you're here learning how to do this. Let's go ahead and now use the DeckLink Duo 2 card to output from ProPresenter to the switcher in a different way, but a very similar way. Here we're in our gym. We just finished worship rehearsal tonight, and on our iMac in front of house, we have our DeckLink Duo set up. So here is the desktop video setup, and you can see here my DeckLink Duo, my 4 outputs, and they're set to 1080p, 2997, which is what our switcher is set to. So those are all set up. You can see here, I have them all set to video output is set to 2997. Cool. Okay, so in ProPresenter, we're gonna go to screens, configure screens, and now on the screen configuration page here, it's very similar to how we just set it up on with the 2 HDMI outputs. So our main output is going to DeckLink Duo 1, our stream output is going to 3, and then our alpha key is going to 2. Yeah, I know I haven't flipped, whatever. And then we're using the pre-multiplied key. So the DeckLink Duo hardware can natively output the key and fill. So then we've got our stage display screen going to output 4. So that's pretty much how that's set up. There is a USB-C cable that runs from this computer here down behind to the, yeah, it's a little bit of a mess down here, but that's, anyways. So here's the DeckLink Duo 2 with the Sonnet enclosure, and I started labeling it, but ran out of labels. Rough, right? So we've got our stage display output, we've got our key and fill going to the studio, and then we've got our projector output there. So there's some old equipment down here, and there's a UPS power supply down here, and some old equipment that we were using before we got the DeckLink setup. Okay, let's run into the studio here. This is our sports office that doubles as our studio space, our control room, really. We have our broadcast audio console, our Allen & Heath SQ5, and a multi-view so they can see what's going on. We've got our PTZ controllers, just to give you a little tour. And then we've got our ATEM switcher. Yeah, we have the old control panel, but it still works quite well. So on the ATEM control software, you can see 8 and 9. There's my key and my fill, or my fill and my key. So then I can put the graphics in and out of program. So you can see, works perfectly right there. Cameras are all looking a little screwed up right now, but yep, so that's that, and I can see those, and usually I don't have those set so that I can see them. Usually I have a couple of cameras in there, but this is a 10 input switcher, so 8 and 9 are set to the key and fill, and that because we don't need to see those inputs, so it's a great way to have those inputs set. So there we go. I can close out of this, and then we can just throw our graphics on air, and you can see right there that our stuff is coming through. You can also see that it's the exact same setup. We're using the upstream key. So on this one, we have 4 upstream keys. So I can click on upstream key 1 and then Luma, and then set 8, 9 is my key and my fill, and then I can go ahead and put it on there. Okay, I think that's all this is to say. Any other questions? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you're interested in this kind of stuff. If you'd love to learn more, I'd love to be here and be a resource for you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you later. Bye.